Welcome to my bewitching podcast, where I take you on a journey to initiate you into the mysteries and pleasures of all things magical and more. I'm Julie Nelson, Rich Witch, botanical perfumer, astrologer, and creator of the Fragrant Oracle. I'll discuss a myriad of topics passionately on women rising unapologetically, witchcraft, including spells, rituals, insightful astrology updates, and oracle card readings. I'll also introduce you to special guests who share their bountiful knowledge and experience in the art of witchcraft, the intuitive and healing arts, and being wildly unapologetic. Hello and welcome back. This is Julie and the Rich Witch podcast. And today I've got a beautiful friend of mine. All the women I have on here are beautiful friends. And I have met beautiful Tosca. And fortunately, it was so beautiful, but I've now moved far away, so we can't get to see each other anymore. And Tosca is the author of a book, Claim Your Goddess. And I'm actually going to hand you over in a minute to Tosca, where she can tell you a bit about this. And I thought it would be good for Tosca to read some excerpts from her book, and then we can have a bit of a conversation, because we are all powerful goddesses. And I am very much about being an unapologetic goddess, which, whatever I feel like calling myself at the moment, woman of the modern world. And so I'm going to hand it over to you, Tosca, and let you introduce your book, and reminding our audience that links to connect in with Tosca, if you want to buy her book or anything, will be in the show notes so that they're there for easy access. So over to you, my beautiful woman.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for this gorgeous invitation to not only share this space with you, but to share the space with our beautiful listeners, and especially about goddesses. Like, what more is there to speak about goddesses?
Absolutely. And we're on the rise, we're coming back. I feel like, if I may just say this, like, women have been rising for a long time and fighting patriarchy, and there's still a long way to go. And I feel there was a dormancy for a while. But I'm seeing in this past year that I feel there's like an influx of a rise again. It's like the energy is coming back. Cosmically, there's so much going on that's creating change and breaking down of the old systems. And women, the amount of women that are beginning to stand up or realize or wake up, however you want to speak it, is growing again. And so, yeah, let's I'll hand it back to you. I love to go off.
Yeah. I 1,000% agree with you, Julie. Like, I do feel like we're at the precipice of dismantling those beliefs, the constructs and the constraints of society, the patriarchy. Like, we are at that space of really taking forth our own power.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I agree with you. Now, I just heard a big crash in my background. Did you hear that by any chance?
I didn't hear it, Julie.
I think my kitties are up to some mischief. Anyway, that's good, because it was really loud. It's like, sorry, I've gone off track, but it was like, imagining one of them got up on a shelf and pulled the shelf down. So I'll soon find
Oh, no.
So yes, I love the words you expressed then, and it is really important. And so many, if I may, because I think this is quite relevant. A couple of weeks ago, I watched a movie called Young Woman in the Sea. And it was
Mm,
based on the true story of Trudy Elodie. She was the first woman to cross the English Channel, like swim across the English Channel. And the fucking shit she had to go through with patriarchy. In those days, excuse me, women weren't allowed to swim in pools. And, there's been things over time where women weren't allowed to read or write way back in the 15th, 16th century and more. Only courtesans, and I've talked about this because I was very inspired about the story of Veronica Franco, who
mm,
was a famous courtesan and also a poet in Venice in the late 15th, early 16th century. And she was accused of a witch. Anyway, she got off all of this. And then with this movie with Trudy Elodie, like Italy, I think it is. She was a great swimmer. Her and her sister were powerful swimmers. And so they did do swimming, but they were only allowed in, they weren't allowed to compete like the men. And that
mm.
typical patriarchy um, way of where women were weak and it just wasn't appropriate. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. We know the story. And it really inspired me because once again, like it goes way back how women for so long have been fighting for their rights in equality. And the story, the movie made me laugh. It made me cry. I was like cheering her on, because there were so many blocks for her and she wouldn't give up. And she's one woman. And just such a beautiful story. So if anybody ever gets the chance to watch it, Young Woman and the Sea. It really is fabulous. I don't
Mm.
know how much it's been Hollywoodized, but I felt it was done pretty well. And again, it spurred me on. It's like, yes, we have got this as women. And one of the things, and I know that you're going to touch on this, is women's health. I do feel an inner rage about how the medical system has really ignored women's health for so long, and there's especially with the reproductive system. It's only been recently that endometriosis is really being taken notice of, and women suffer so much in their health and their reproductive, and still at 2024, they're just not doing the research that it deserves. Instead, they'll put fucking no, I'm not going to apologize for my language because I always swear on here. Our government puts in trillions into a bloody submarine that's never going to be in our waters. And then they've just put 33 million into Channel 10. And it's like, hang on a minute. I don't give a shit if Channel 10 goes under. I don't even watch TV. Why don't we put this into the people in our country? So I am going off, but I feel that some of that is relevant to what your message is to the world as well. So handing it back over to you.
Absolutely. And I think women's health, women's passions and purpose and identity is a central focus. If we want to continue to progress, and I'm not anti-male, I'm definitely not anti-male, but I do feel giving women the opportunity to really rise, speak their truth with passion, because we do have a different viewpoint. We do
Mm-hmm.
have a different understanding, then this would be a different space for all of us.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not hating on men either. Um, for me, it's about balance. And I even see in this modern world that a lot of young men are a bit confused as to what
Yeah,
their role as a man is. And I really see in my mind, in my heart, I believe that the systems, they're so old and out of date,
true.
need to be broken down and rebuilt. And I
True.
love the idea of having in our governments a balance of women
Mm,
and men,
mm,
because, as you said, we do think differently. We respond and react differently. We deal with things differently. And how powerful would it be for all of that to be blended, to be merged together? So, yeah, thank you
agree.
for saying that. Yeah.
Agree. And I think it's bringing the skill sets and the aptitudes of both women and men
Mm.
to really rise, because we are different, but we can complement each other in our leadership styles, our thinking, our restorative communications, like really hold a space for evolutionary progress.
Yes, and that's what it's about, complementing each other instead of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Because women are still fighting for their rights, and it's fucking
True.
exhausting. And we
Mm.
shouldn't have to, because we're all, in my practice, my lifestyle as a witch and following some pagan ways, is that we're all one. We are nature. We are the universe. Like there really isn't a disconnection other than what these broken, out of date systems have created and brought in, and the ridiculous red tape that has been put in place. Like, anyway, I'm not going to go into the politics of it all, but yeah, merging it together to complement each other. That's what opposites do. And being able to agree to disagree and communicate rather than bully each other, so that we come to that place of, we can do this, we can create, we can evolve, we can create a beautiful world. Mm,
Mm.
so much food for
Agree.
thought.
Definitely agree with you there.
Mm,
Absolutely. Mm.
mm. So, with your book, my love, tell us a little bit
Yes,
about what it's about, and then you've got some pieces to read out for us, which I am excited to hear. I remember when you started doing it, and yeah, so let's get stuck into that and see what evolves from that in our conversation.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. The book is called Claim Your Goddess Power, and it is about my personal journey
Hmm.
of being overwhelmed, anxious, to coming to a space and a deepening of my purpose and of who I am, to really start to look into my own divine embodiment and to accept the goddess within me.
Yes.
Actually go, this is a part of me, and that's okay. I am wise, I am intuitive, I have my own self identity, passion, and a voice that is here to be heard. And I'm not just saying about me, Tosca, I'm talking collectively.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Uh,
So that is what this book's about. And there's personal stories, there's sadness, there's joy, there's intuition, there's a whole lot of different aspects of this book. And one of the things I'm going to read about is the first chapter, which is about joy is the barometer to our soul.
I love that
And
title.
yeah, it is. It's really acknowledging that joy is a big aspect of not only our life, but our soul and how we are in this
And
world. And
our health
ex
and well-being.
our health, our well-being, even during pain. I know it sounds like the opposite, but even during really tough times, that there is a space for joy. There is a space to invite that vibration, energy into our lives and into our bodies. So
Mm-hmm.
let me just share a little bit about my mother's breast cancer journey.
Okay.
Yes. So as I sat looking into my mother's eyes, I could feel the love of my heart explode. Now, this happened after her diagnosis of cancer, actually in the hospital. She'd
Mm.
just gone through a double mastectomy. So we were all in that angst and uncertainty and sadness. So I asked myself, what happens next? And I felt my life and my mum's life was hanging in limbo, in the void, waiting for the doctors to dictate to us where she would be, cancer in lymph nodes, cancer in this, cancer in that. So you can only imagine how scared my mum felt,
Mm.
unsure, overwhelmed. And the question that kept coming to my mind and my mum's mind is, do we wait for the doctors to tell us successful or not? Like, do we hang in that limbo and go, our life is here. Do we waste this precious time by being dictated by cancer?
Mm-hmm. I'm really feeling this because of my own experience with my daughter in a life and death situation. So I can feel it. I can really
Yes.
feel that. Yeah.
And absolutely. And it's not about denying anything. It's about what else can we invite into our life during these really difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
So my mum and I made a choice to be in the moment. The choice whether life hung with us or death was imminent. Where are we in that void? And so we both decided to relinquish our control of what my mother wanted, what I wanted, and to just open up to what other things are possible here. What
Mm.
other things are possible in our darkest hour? And what occurred during that time was we made choices in those single days, in those weeks to laugh, connect, sing, dance, celebrate. We gave ourselves permission to accept that there's joy in those days. There's joy in those moments. And that was precious. That was precious. And so the choice of joy called us. So in the midst of all of the singing and laughing and happiness,
I love that you brought that in though. Like, it's powerful and beautiful. Yeah.
it doesn't mean we didn't have tears at times, but we
Yes.
also allowed ourselves to not be stuck in the emotion of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Actually go, okay, let's see what we can find here. Let's find some happy jokes. Let's laugh. Let's reminisce. Let's sing. Let's do all of that. So the medicine during our time, and especially my mum's time, was the joy.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And then day after day, we witnessed more miracles. Our prayers were answered. Our happiness grew. And the oncologist came to mum one day and he said, you, Maureen, are one of the luckiest women alive. The cancer has only touched one little lymph node. We've taken all that. You are basically cancer free.
Yes. Yes. Gosh, I can almost feel the elation, and you haven't even
Oh,
expressed that part of it yet.
oh, look, we were crying, dancing, singing, celebrating, like to actually have that confirmation of we are celebrating life. We are celebrating joy. This time is so precious that it was a choice, Julie. It was like, whatever the
Mhm.
outcome, our time together, mother and daughter, it's really precious. And we will walk the next step together, whatever that looks like. So
Yeah.
holding that joy as the barometer made choices evident for us.
Women empowering women, women
Yes.
supporting women, fucking amazing goddesses uniting. And as you said, making that choice to actually dwell in other possibilities that can
True.
shift energy and help you both through that process. Beautiful, Tosca. I thank you for sharing that. I don't know if you want to share any more about your mum, but it's very powerful and very inspiring. And especially, I feel because we're in a very disconnected world right now, and um, to have the inspiration and know that whether it's family, friends, that we come together and say, I'm here for you. I'm going to walk this journey with you. And we're going to choose to have some fun on the
Yes.
way. And that
Yes.
in itself is so healing and empowering.
It is. And I really believe that's where the power is. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
you give yourself over to fun and joy and happiness, and a whole new vibration, a whole new healing happens, a whole new
Yeah.
situation occurs, and you do it together,
Yep. And by talking about this, I want to make it clear that we're not saying it's easy. It's fucking
No.
hard. However, we do have that choice. And the the truth is that sometimes we can't change any of the outcomes. So the choice is let's laugh and love in the process to make the most of what we have. And that's what
Absolutely.
you did. And that's beautiful.
Absolutely. You laugh with life, laugh at life, laugh through life, like
Yeah.
claim
Yeah.
it. Just see it as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I call a fucking goddess. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, what have you got for us next, my beautiful woman?
I have another story, and this story is about claiming our intuitive knowingness. And I don't call intuition a gift because we all have it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a superpower gift. We all have our intuition. It's whether or not we trust ourselves enough to act on it.
Yes, so true. And for so many, it has been squashed again, dare I say, through the old systems and schooling and even with creativity. We can all sing, we can all dance, we can all do art, but we've been trained in ways that to disbelieve that.
Mm,
And
mm.
it's trusting your gut and knowing that one of the things I say to people is, everything you need to know. And I'll give an example of sometimes if I feel triggered about something, and I'm a highly intuitive person, meaning that I have allowed it to come up, and I've been like this since a child. It wasn't
Mm,
hard for me, and
mm,
not something where my mum would ever say, "Oh, don't be silly." She would hear me, and because I had a lot of interesting experiences as a child, and so I absolutely live by my intuition. And so if I feel triggered or concerned or worried about something, I ask myself, what are my next steps? What do I need to know? Because I know that I know,
true.
and that's what I work with women with, and trusting themselves and being unapologetic about it. So I'm looking forward to this bit.
Absolutely. And I feel in society that our intuition has been minimized. It
Mhm.
has been dulled out as not a valuable intelligence. It's just your intuition. Like
Mm.
it hasn't really been acknowledged as its own intelligence and its own wisdom and power.
Beautiful words and so true. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
So this next story is about the day I learnt about faith in my intuition. And
Beautiful.
this is many, many years ago. This is when I was a wee girl at about 18 years old.
Wow.
And I was driving my mother's car, as you do at 18. And I pulled up to a set of traffic lights in Cairns. This is where I live. And I was at the intersection between Sheridan and Mulgrave, basically meaning two big main roads.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the front of the traffic lights waiting for the color to change. And in the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a red flash and a car screaming in front of me. And in that absolute millisecond, thinking I'd seen it, I jammed my foot on the brake and against the brake. And it wasn't until I realized that the light had gone green, and it was the actual car. So if I had not slammed my foot on the brake with this red car coming across, it would have been a full-on major car, multi-car episode. And in that moment, I heard screaming, I heard screeching, I heard tires, I smelt rubber. And it wasn't until I actually pulled away, because I was sort of up the front of it, that I realized, I thought, far out, how did I actually know that? How did I have that moment to put on my brakes even before what I thought I saw? And I believe that was my intuition. It was my intuition basically for me saving my life. And that is when I really built my faith on, wow, something bigger than me, something in me has just occurred here.
Absolutely. And I think it's within you, not external. And it is big, but it's not bigger than you. It is you. And I love that. And, we hear of people having experiences like this, and it's very profound. It's like,
Yes.
and it's not uncommon for people to have flashes and images or things in their peripheral view. Or it could be in their mind, but it feels external and it's powerful. I mean, hello, thank you, hallelujah. You trusted that in that moment. And also possibly too is sometimes when those moments happen, we don't have time for the logical brain to kick in and think
No,
about it.
no, agree. It was illogical, if you want to put in there. Well, the logic brain had gone out. I hadn't even had time to query it, to second guess it. Is it real? Is it not real? It happened so fast that my instinct, my intuitive instinct came straight on and occurred the brake on my pedal. So, yeah, the instinctive intuition came to point, So I sometimes feel like intuition is also about life-saving, and that was a life-saving moment for me.
Oh, absolutely. It can be many things, and it's my gosh, thinking of even medical things. If you don't feel right, don't brush it off.
That's
Listen to that, trust that. And if your logical brain does go, don't be ridiculous, everything's okay. Just go, well, hang on a minute. Why am I having this feeling? Like, question it. And that's very powerful. And
mm,
it's awesome that you recognized that and went with it.
mm, mm,
It's like,
agree.
sometimes we fall and it feels like slow motion, but our body, our being responds so quickly and we think, how did I actually save myself from that?
Yeah.
You know how to put your arms down. I mean, not this doesn't happen to everybody, but it's like I've had a lot of falls when I used to live on a big property and climbing rocks and doing things like that once upon a time. And it was just like I knew a lot of the land, but I remember stepping back once and I forgot that I wasn't on flat ground. There was about a meter drop. I was working in one of my gardens and it was really interesting because as I went down, I thought, oh my God. And it was so quick, but it was like I knew there was a big rock behind me that I did not want to hit my head on. And so as I came down, I folded my body, but it happens so fast. Our instincts, our gut instincts, our intuition, our whatever it is, it just works so fast. And it's like, my God, the body is incredible. Our essence of being, because it's more than the physical body.
So true.
Um, and you think, wow, I could have cracked my head open. I could have really severely hurt myself or more. And that's just an example, and I know with falls that I've had, it's just like somehow something magical and powerful kicks in and we know exactly what to do.
Mm.
And I think it's those situations too, as I said before, our logical brain hasn't had time to
Yeah.
go into panic or anything like that. We go into shock and then panic after.
True.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So, what can you share about trusting intuition and,
Mm.
because there are a lot of people out there that think it's bullshit or
There
that
are.
they just don't get it. And as you said, we all have it. Do we have, can we recommend some practices? I can think of some, but some practices that we can do to offer our audience. Are there things that you do yourself, or have you put anything in your book about that?
Yeah, I actually talk about how we receive our intuition.
Mm,
Like, because our intuition for me is like our senses,
mm,
how we see, feel, hear, and
mm,
even our cognizance. They're like our senses. So intuition may be received differently for different people.
mhm,
And to actually know that, oh, this is my truth. This is my little voice. This is my feeling sense. This is my goosebumps. This is that little drop in your belly that you go, oh, is this right? That is your intuition. That sense of that deep knowing
mm,
is your intuition. Many times it's that head thinking, the overthinking, that can't be right. That's not true. We minimize our own sense of power around it. And to actually sit back and reflect, oh, when did I actually have that feeling, like at the supermarket or in a car? When did I actually not second guess, but feel into myself? And then how did I receive it? Was
mm,
it a feeling sense through my body, like that shiver, pressure? Sometimes you go, oh, I just know that. I don't know how I know it, but I know that.
yes, yes, I love that. And I do believe that we can train ourselves, of course,
Totally.
to take more notice, to master it, perhaps, and trust it. And often it is, isn't it? It's like for me, and I'm going to say this too, bringing in a little bit of astrology, and people might go, oh, but we all respond and react differently for different reasons and different happenings. And something that I've noticed with all the years of doing astrology, which is 27 years, is that
Mm.
when you look at some people's charts and their elemental ratio, they receive the information differently. And sometimes I can line it
Mm.
up to their charts.
Mm.
And so people that have, as an example, and this is open, I'm not saying this is how it is, um, but what I do know through my own experiences, I have strong water in my chart. And people with water, water is about feelings and emotions. So I know in the past, and I remember it very clearly, I was staying with my eldest sister. I think I was about 14. My mum, my younger sister, and another sister had come to Australia for a holiday. And the day they were flying home, I burst into tears. And I went to my sister and I said, I'm really scared. I think I don't know. I'm scared mummy's going to be in a plane crash. And she said, it's okay, Julie, it's all right. And I've had a lot of things like that myself. And it was because I feel very
Mm.
deeply and very strongly. And that has a lot to do with my cosmic blueprint. Anyway, when they got home, they had had a lot of turbulence in the plane and a lot of rocking around and dropping, when they have air pockets, which I have experienced, and it's almost like your stomach's going to come out of your mouth. So, and
Oh,
that was what I picked up on. And
wow.
so, so for some people, they might get messages in their mind,
True.
signs, symbols, or words. For others, they might hear things. For others, they see. And for others, we feel. And so taking note of these, and I'd even go as far to say is write it down so you
Yes.
remember. And if you can align it to any particular incident, and it may not even be about you or somebody close to you.
Yeah.
And that is a way that we can start to honor and practice taking notice of our
Mm.
intuition,
Mm.
that
Mm.
other sense that is
Mm.
not, we can feel and hear from our ears, we can touch our eyes,
Mm.
our intuition is not, it's not solid. We can't, and
Yeah.
that's for a lot of people, they desperately want science to prove all of this, and
They do.
science is still way fucking behind people. Um,
Exactly.
and back in the day before, our limbic brain used to be bigger. And once upon a time, it was known as the smell brain because that's how people survived through this sense of smell. They could smell danger.
Mm.
So we can retrain, we can enhance our intuition. Um,
Yes.
but but one of the things is believing, because if you don't believe in it, it ain't gonna happen.
No.
It might, but you will, not take any notice
Yeah.
of it. Mm.
I agree with you. I feel that intuition is a muscle. And the more we
Yes.
train it, the more we look after, and the more we're sort of aware of it, we learn to trust ourselves and those messages or intuitive insights, for the want of a better word, we learn to trust it as our own language, whether, as
Mm.
you said, is it visual, is it clairvoyance, is it clairaudience, are we hearing it, are we, claircognizance are dropping into our brains without a thought. You think, where did that random thought come from?
Yeah.
you know so it's learning to trust ourselves with our own intuition.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I don't know if this is related, and I know other people experience it, But have you ever, and I always have to close my eyes and I'm listening to somebody, and in my mind, I'm speaking at exactly the same time as they are. I know what they're going to say. Have you ever
Wow.
experienced that?
No, I
I
I
can't
haven't
do it out
experienced that.
loud. I can't do it out loud, but I can close my eyes and I can speak in my mind word for word what they're saying.
Mm.
And I would
Wow.
love to know if anybody's listening to this, well, anybody that's listening to this has ever experienced this. And
Yeah.
I believe I've been told, I remember speaking to a friend who was studying psychology many years ago, and she said, oh, yes, that's something that happens with people. And of course, she had a scientific response for that. But I'm really curious because I think, how the hell do I do that? But I can't do it out loud because it takes longer. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm going to invite you, Tosca, and let me know that if you are going to listen to a podcast or somebody speak,
Yeah.
close your eyes and see if you know what they're saying word for word. Because it
I will.
blows me away. And it's word for word. I'm not trailing behind them. And I couldn't remember anything they were saying anyway. Like, it's just like anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because I think that's an aspect of knowing, intuition or sensing. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And absolutely. How does that happen?
Mm.
We're all connected. So coming in on that inner level and that inner sensing and trusting, isn't it? That
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to do that next time. I
Yeah,
definitely,
do, and please let me know because I would really love to know. And our brain, our body, our heart, our gut, like sometimes I sit and reflect on the human and how we function.
mm,
And it blows my mind. It's not something to be taken for granted, which many do. And we do at different times because we're always in this automatic process. But it's even when you think about, well, how does my body know how to move a finger? Like we know what it's all scientific, but you know what I mean? It's like, so if we
mm,
can do that on a physiological level, we can do it on um, an intuitive level.
totally,
Yeah.
totally,
And
totally.
and maybe there is a lot more information out there. It's not an area that I have researched. I just trust myself and go with, what
Mm,
comes out.
mm, mm,
Mm.
absolutely.
So what are some practices? I'm a great one for if you want to help to train yourself. I guess something, where would we begin? And it is about learning to trust yourself and believe that all things are possible. We know that this is, and it's only our own limiting beliefs that prevent us from moving forward. And in a world that we live in, and how we really have been um, controlled and trained,
Yeah,
right from dot.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We we have, and that's I don't know if it's indoctrination in a belief system that we override. And I'm not saying not to trust your intellect, but we've been enculturated to believe that our intellect is more important than our intuition and
mhm,
that sense of our own inner sensing, that 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 intelligence of ourself is not as worthy as our own intellect. And I
exactly.
believe, Yeah, I believe it's a changing time. That's what I believe with the goddess, that we are starting to realize that we are innately wise, majestic beings that hold an enormous amount of power for change within ourselves,
Mm.
to self-identify ourselves of who we really are, and the knowingness that comes with that.
Yes, absolutely. There I go again, another cough. I love that. I love that. And we are powerful. We are very powerful. And we know that if it from our brain, like if we can talk ourselves into something, we can talk ourselves into dying. So why, I mean, going down another path now. So we can we can bring ourselves into the joy of being a joyful goddess. We can tap into and trust our own power, our own being, our knowing, because I truly believe that we know it all.
We do. Yeah.
I really, really believe that from my heart. Then we can look at things like heart math. So our energetic field from I can't remember the exact meterage, but just say, for example, from our brain, it moves at 3 meters, perhaps. I don't even know if it's that much. From our heart, it can be 9 meters and beyond.
Mm,
Now, in that field of energy, we
mm,
feel, we
mm,
can tap into that. So there's many avenues that we could
mm.
research as resources to understand it, because perhaps some people may need to, really delve into it to be able to understand it if they are not used to trusting themselves for this.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to say is that I mean, your book feels and sounds, and I say feel is my language. We have different languages, right? I feel, I hear, I see what you're saying. And that's why I bring a bit of astrology into it as well, because you can tell through astrology how somebody what language they're going to use.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I feel that your book would be incredibly inspiring with those kinds of stories and help people to perhaps open up that little bit more or a whole lot more into, I have this ability. I have this magic, this alchemy, however you want to name it. I am highly intuitive. And that's what I was saying. Using affirmations can help to retrain the brain by rewiring and strengthening those neural pathways. And that's what I work with scent and
Mm,
affirmations. And
mm.
like I've been saying forever, I am a fucking fabulous goddess. I'm a powerful woman. And the thing is, I really believe it. And it's not about
Yes.
ego, it's owning myself as a woman, because
Yes.
my background, like, I was raped, I was sexually abused, I was beaten, I was, so many different things where I didn't have much of myself left. It was there, but I didn't know it. So we have got what it takes to rise up as an amazing woman, a goddess, and live our best life,
A-
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And taking that as the invitation to go deeper. And it's not deeper outside of yourself, it's deeper within yourself, to actually have that curiosity, to start to explore, to start to love, to start to trust, to start to really feel that you are really something beautiful, majestic, powerful. There is something here that is a part of you,
Yes, yes. You're not tits and bum and
No.
beautiful. on the outside, there is so much residing within you. That probably sounded a bit gross as I said that, but that's how we can often be looked upon. And
Yeah,
it's, saying, I am a fucking goddess.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was a bit miffed. I used to say that a lot, and I was going to create a perfume about it, like called "I Am a Fucking Goddess." And then I found out that one of the commercial perfumers that was well known, I can't even remember who it was, Terry Mugler or somebody, did a perfume called "Fucking Fabulous," and I
No,
was like,
no way. No way.
that was years ago, but it's
It's
like
hilarious.
listen to how you speak to yourself. That's really, really important. And catch yourself. And it's just like, oh, I'm not creative. I'm not intuitive. Flip that around and go, I really honor my intuition, my feminine essence, my creativity, my power as a woman. Flip it and keep flipping it until it naturally comes out. And read Tosca's book.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie. Well, this book is a self-guide book. It's a book to get dirty at the beach, on picnics, and it's not like a read from the front to the back. It's like pick it up, do some of the exercises, put it back down again, and just enjoy the process that it brings for you. Like to really dive deep into your own journey. Yeah,
I love that. And our journeys are all different
they
and
are.
yeah, show up in many different ways. So we will have the link to connect in with Tosca or purchase her book in the show notes. I'm really grateful for you coming on. I love having real and raw conversations and hearing inspiring stories, and what you and your mother chose to do, and then you trusting your intuition. It's very, very powerful stuff. And it doesn't have to be hard,
No,
as
and
in, trusting yourself.
it's not hard. It's really not hard. We think it's hard. And I would warmly encourage people to look into their own lives and to
Mm,
pick out those points of your own or the chapters of your own life. When did I trust my intuition? When did I really go with my gut? What happened then? Because we all have our stories about this.
absolutely. And even in relationships, you know,
Yes.
I know I shouldn't be here, but maybe it's going to get better. Listen to yourself.
Yes.
Because I was there and it took me 5 years to fucking leave. And then when I left, it was like, why didn't I do this sooner? And it's just like it's trust yourself, because I know there are a lot of women out there that stay in a relationship, and possibly men too, but perhaps for different reasons. But I know for a lot of women, they have lost their sense of self.
Yeah.
Be a fucking goddess. Stand in your power. Trust yourself, because that's all about intuition as well. If you have those feelings where this is not right and you leave it too long, that's when a lot of damage can occur on many
Yes.
levels. So it's
Yes.
really important. So I'm going to say, keep telling yourself you are an amazing goddess, and write it down every day, speak it, it's powerful. And Tosca's got exercises in her book.
Ab-
So
Absolutely. Look in the mirror when you get up and say it to yourself. Look into your own eyes and acknowledge that I am a goddess. I am here on purpose. I'm here to live my best life. I'm here to live a joyful life. Like to really write down the things and speak it to yourself, sing it to yourself, even dance it to yourself.
yes, I love to dance. And one thing I want to
Yes.
say too, to add to that, is people go, yeah, yeah, but what about real life? It's not dismissing real life. That is what it is. However, as Tosca said, we can choose to bring the joy into it. And life is tough. but life is fucking beautiful too.
True.
And so, which path will we take? And do those exercises, because what it does as well is it strengthens your nervous system and your immune system, and it supports you in staying well physically, emotionally, psychologically, energetically, spiritually. You know, it's
Absolutely.
powerful.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. The rewiring, the resetting, the actual calming of our cortisol levels.
yes.
It has a profound effect on our overall well-being. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect.
Mm.
Tosca, thank you. I know that we could keep talking on this, but we've actually been going for nearly an hour, which is pretty awesome. Goes fast, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. So, what I'm going to say, my lovelies, to our audience, well, first of all, thank you, Tosca. I love connecting and talking to you, and it has been a while. Please love us up, comment, ask questions, share the podcast, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff, because with the way things are technology wise these days, we need that to get out into the world. And that's our mission, to support women in rising unapologetically, loving themselves unapologetically, and being a fucking fabulous goddess. So that's it for now, folks, and we'll be catching up in the next podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on the enchanting journey through the realms of magic, mystique, and self-discovery. I hope you enjoyed our time together on the Rich Witch podcast, where we delve into the depths of witchcraft, astrology, and the unapologetic rise of women. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And as we wrap up, I encourage you to carry the wisdom and magic we've shared into your own life. Embrace the power within you and revel in the beauty of your own unique journey. Stay tuned for more magic, and in the meantime, stay curious and know your magic is a gift to the world. Blessed be, beautiful ones, and remember, the magic is always within you. This is Julie Nelson, signing off.